In this video, I'll walk you through 3 steps to go from a sports stat to a cross-platform story. We'll first source the data. We'll then create a story frame using beats or segments. We'll then convert the story frame into an Instagram social post, an Instagram reel, and a long-form article. You don't always need a massive dataset to find an interesting story. Simple stats are everywhere. For example, the F1 World Championship races track the cumulative stats using driver points, as you can see here. And while an easy story to tell is one that is based off the ranking of the drivers by their driver points, a more interesting story might be the share of driver points by percentage between the 2 drivers for each team, and in particular, the top 4 teams in 2025. For example, take the top 4 teams in 2025. McLaren have already won the Constructors' Championship, so Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari are all competing for the 2nd spot this year. And then compare the share of driver points for each team. All teams, except for Red Bull, have a reasonable balance between the drivers and the extent to which they're sharing the spoils. One standout, however, is Red Bull Racing, where Max Verstappen commands a 92% point share over Yuki Tsunoda's 8% share. We can now frame the story through a simple flow into what are called beats or segments. 2 potential stories are shown here. One is about Max being the Red Bull team. The other is about how he's not getting the support he needs. After you map out your story, you then decide how to present the insight in different formats. For example, the above flow might result in 4 slides for an Instagram carousel, or 4 beats within an Instagram reel or YouTube short, and 4 sections within a long-form article. This simple diagram can be a very powerful planning tool, and in our storytelling framework lies at the nexus of story creation and story design. Now that you have the storyline, you can source the F1 data for this data story in one of 3 ways. You can manually copy and paste the data from the table to a spreadsheet. You can web scrape the HTML table using some application code, or you can programmatically access F1 data using an application programming interface or API. We typically run analyses multiple times, so copying and pasting can get old and is also error-prone. So we use the following snippet of code using R to web scrape the driver points data. Unfortunately, the data doesn't come across fully clean, so you have to do a little cleaning and transforming, which is shown below. With the data in hand, you can now create the content. We have templates that we use for each of our Instagram stories, which is useful for branding, consistency, and rapid design and publish work. As an example of what you could build, we created the following demo story in Canva. We chose the headline Maxed Out, representing the fact that Max Verstappen is the F1 Red Bull Racing team. If we were to paint this out across a carousel, we'd show his history and give insights into why this is a good or bad thing. However, you get to see the design we used, which was mostly left-align text, a statistical call-out and pie graph, and a slightly translucent overlay to help contrast the text and images with the background picture. Canva is a great tool if you're new to creating social posts, and it has a rich library of graphics and design tools. Also, you can upload your own images and data to create a data-driven story that focuses on Max. Here's what one of your carousel slides for Instagram could look like. We use Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects for shorter videos, and we'll include Camtasia for longer tutorials, especially when we have to screen capture a hands-on walkthrough. Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects can be a bit overwhelming if you're a beginning creator, but stick with them. You'll find there's a ton of power once you figure out how to create animations, especially with data. We use a standard workflow where Premiere Pro is our main project for the video, and then we create separate compositions that we build and import into the main Premiere Pro project file. You might think of the compositions as the beats or segments in the finished Instagram reel. There are a lot of extensions you can use when creating animated video, but when you settle on a few that work for you, create a baseline template, and you'll always have a starting point. Below is the first beat of our Instagram. You can see here how we've got different layers within the composition and are implementing some fairly simple animation. We've also used a mix of licensed images, Google Flow AI-generated video, text, and of course the statistic that represents Max's driver point share. When you complete the composition, you can render the video and then import into your main video. We use Ghost as our newsletter platform, but what we'll show you below equally applies to platforms like Medium and Substack. We also use Data Wrapper as our data visualization tool. It's free for our small team and is awesome for our needs. For example, here's the visualization we created by uploading the data into Data Wrapper. To get to this, you open Data Wrapper, upload the data, choose the specific visualization you want, configure the specifics of the visualization, and then publish it. And after you publish, you can use the embed code to integrate your visualization into your article. A simple copy and paste of the embed code into an HTML control in your newsletter platform will get you something like the below. And there are a ton of features in Data Wrapper that make the visualization interactive. For example, sorting, filtering, and so on. And there you have it. By creating a single stat with a story frame, you're able to reuse that statistic across different modalities. In this demo, we showed you how to reuse the statistic for an Instagram social post, an Instagram Reel, and a newsletter. You can also reuse the Instagram Reel video for YouTube Shorts and also reuse the newsletter text across different platforms.